So I didn't watch the Super Bowl. I don't care about sports. And I didn't watch more than 4 seconds of the Beyonce show. And I kind of kept wraps on ranting about Beyonce for so long because I don't really pay attention to her that much. I don't care for her music. I liked Destiny's Child when Destiny's Child existed. I liked a few of the songs, whatever. But I stayed away from Beyonce because I'm just so flippant about her. I'm like, whatever, I don't really care. But in this day and age, in this society, if we say that about Beyonce specifically, a whole shitload of insults comes out after that. And I find it weird with the Beyonce fandom. I saw this stuff like a couple years ago when I first started ranting. I saw this kind of attitude from fans about Lady Gaga. You say one thing about her, you say I don't like her, and then people jump down your throat. I don't see that much anymore. I see her little monsters. I see them kind of just saying, all right, if you don't like her, that's cool. She's been doing this for as long as she has. And then people start to realize, well, there's people, that don't like her. That's cool. But Beyonce, because in recent years, she's always been a superstar. Like, we know that. She's always been high up, whatever. But in recent years, with her baby and whatever, like, she's just escalated to a much higher level of superstardom, I think. Interestingly, I don't see a whole lot of people really have anything bad to say about her, for the most part. I don't see it. If you could point out where you see it, that's cool. But I don't normally see a whole lot of people, slamming Beyonce like, oh, I hate her so much. I don't see that much. But what I see a lot, especially with fans of Beyonce, you see this with any aspect of people that are obsessed with a celebrity. But I think that a lot of hardcore fans of Beyonce, they start to kind of accept her accomplishments as their own in retaliation of people when they say things like if I say to somebody, oh, I don't really like Beyonce, it's like, well, whatever, she's a diva, she's like super famous and you're not, so you're just stupid. Like using where Beyonce is in the world as a defense, which doesn't make any sense because that's not you. She's not you. You're not her. What the fuck are you doing? I personally find Beyonce to be a very good entertainer, obviously. She's a good dancer. Can she sing? Yes. But is she this entity that everybody makes, she's like the definition of fierce these days, because she's Sasha Fierce, whatever. So she's this definition of fierce, and she's the definition of a diva. The word diva, I think, is also in use, anybody can be a diva, obviously, but it's so often changing definition. A diva would be somebody that's really good at what they do, but also very, looking down on her people, kind of, sort of, I guess that could be it, like your head is so swelled that you think you're the best. And what I see from news articles and gossip site excerpts about Beyonce, what I see is somebody with a swelled head, somebody who borders on very narcissistic and claims they want privacy while the world knows every little detail about everything. Really, at the end of the day, these people that we worship in society, they're just entertainers. Like, suddenly your ability to sing or your ability to dance really well holds you at a higher regard than any normal person that can string a coherent sentence together. I think that's a bit of a shame, honestly. And I think it's a shame when people attach their egos to a performer, and suddenly when somebody insults them, they themselves get insulted because they're so attached to this person. And maybe it's going to be like the way of Lady Gaga, where like nowadays you don't see as much like anti like people that are fans of Lady Gaga like going crazy when somebody doesn't like her. You know, maybe it'll peter out over time. But as of right now, in some people's eyes, like Beyonce can do no wrong, and if you don't like her, you're obviously a hater and you're obviously jealous of her life. Let me tell you, I am not jealous of anybody's who's very, you know, like monetarily famously successful. I'm not jealous of that life. I would never want bodyguards having to follow me around everywhere because my face is so known to the world and like who I am is so known to the world. I would not want that. If I were to get pregnant, I wouldn't want the world speculating on whether or not I'm really pregnant or not. Like, could you imagine that kind of life? I couldn't imagine having that kind of life. That's crazy to me. I don't see the need to hold this woman to a higher regard than anybody else in the world. I really don't see what the big deal is. People were saying, oh, the Super Bowl was the Beyonce show. It's like every time she walks, like a piece of gold falls or something. It's not like that. Like, she's just a performer. It's okay to like her. I don't understand the obsessive mindset. I call it obsessive because what I see is obsession. I don't see just a fan anymore. I don't know if any of you guys like Beyonce. I don't know if, you know, it's that level of fandom that I try to talk about and I try to wrap my head around sometimes, but I don't know, you know, like it's like Beyonce and Bieber, like like I haven't seen a fan ever be okay with somebody not liking her, and I just don't get it. Somebody on Tumblr posted to me after I said something about Beyonce on my Tumblr. Somebody said, I don't like her, but I respect her contributions. I like that. I really like that. I think, you know, that sums up how I feel too. Don't really like her, but hey, you know, obviously she's doing pretty well for herself. What am I worried about, you know? I think some people tend to forget, like, you know, if you say you don't like something, you know, that doesn't automatically mean, oh, you can't stand it. Like, you're the worst person ever for disliking this thing that I like, you know? You know, you forget that, like, you can not like something, but you still respect what it is and what it's brought to the table here. I just think, you know, is Beyonce gonna be one of those longevity kind of things? Who knows? I don't know. But all I know is that I don't like her music. I don't really listen to it, but every time Single Ladies comes on at a wedding that I go to, usually the bouquet toss is right after, so I'm on the dance floor dancing like crazy. That's all I know. So that's just some stupid thoughts about Beyonce fandom. I want to make an Amnesia, like, best of, so I'm going to do that later. Good night, bitches.